Hi, Mama. I'm so happy to have you. You're welcome, Mom.
Hello, Kate. Faith, good evening. Thank you. I
Hey.
am so delighted to be here
Oh, wow, it's such
today.
an honor to
Really,
have
I'm
you. Thank you. So, we are so excited. We've been looking forward to this time because, personally, for me, this is one topic that I feel like it's so important because I'm not just called, and every woman, every Christian woman is not just called to be a Christian woman in her church, in her
true.
house.
Very
Yes,
true.
we need to go out there. We
Mm-hmm.
interact in our business spaces, we interact in our career spaces, and we meet a lot of people. But then it's discovered that Christians don't really function and they don't really participate, they don't really give their best in the social space. So that's why today we want to know what is it that we are missing? What is it that we need to learn? What is it that we need to know about? So that's why we are here. And I'm so
Incredible.
happy. It's such a privilege to have you here. Thank you for saying yes to do this. Yes, we are so privileged to have you. Thank you, Mama.
I am so delighted to be here myself. This is a
Oh,
big privilege that I do not in any way take for granted. And I want to say thank you, Faith, and to your team members for having me and for putting this together. God bless you a great deal.
oh, wow. Oh, thanks to God. Thank you so much. So I think without taking so much of our time, we can just dive into today's session so we know. So we want to talk about the woman and her social etiquette. What is it? Okay, first of all, what's social etiquette? What are we looking at? What are we having today? See you, ma'am.
Amazing. All right. All right. Thank you once again for having me. And so I'm just going to go straight up into what etiquette is about, basically. And like you rightly said, I love your intro into this. You said that, we are, as Christian women, we are not just called to shine our lights in the church alone. As a
Yeah.
matter of I hear this sometimes and I just smile. Like even in the church, we have so many lights shining, so much so that the lights are becoming blinding to other lights. So the best place to shine our lights is out there in darkness. Of course, that's
Yeah.
where it tends to be appreciated, not in the midst of other lights. So
Mm.
having said that, it is when you go out there and shine your light. Like the Bible says to go out there and do your work in such a way that people would see you and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. That's
Yeah.
when I now really begin to say, oh, yes, I am, a Christian woman. So the Christian woman,
Mm.
and if you look at it very closely, just, diving a little bit into the Bible, the Christian name that you and I bear today wasn't even given by people in church. It was the worldly people, the secular people who saw some certain people behaving in a certain manner and thought, oh,
Mm.
these people behave like this man. They speak like this man. They do things like this man. And in fact, they should be called Christians. And then that is still very inherent even in our day and time. You do not necessarily need to open your mouth to tell someone that I'm a Christian for them to know that you're
Yeah.
one. To just
Yeah.
know by the way that you carry yourself, by the way that you behave,
Mm.
verbally. And so this is what etiquette basically is about. Now, etiquette is, like rules that are taken largely from even the Bible, all right? So we see a lot of ways that people coordinated themselves in the Bible days, and rules are taken from there. So etiquette rules basically are guidelines. So let me even say this before I go ahead to define what etiquette is. So I'm going to be reading from, some chapters from my book. Okay, so I have the e-copy,
Okay.
so I'll be reading from my book here. So when you see me look down, so I'm just reading some lines. So I'll read and probably explain some of the things that I've written down. Is that okay? Is that fine?
Amazing. That's fine. That's fine.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So I was going to explain about etiquette. So etiquette, of course, there's good manners, right? So people say, oh, good manners. What's the difference between good manners and etiquette? Etiquette is just a part or a kind of good manners. Good manners is just simply put, respect, having respect, consideration, for humans in general, the way you treat people. All right, like someone once said that respect for yourself shows your morals, but respect for others shows your manner. So the way you treat other people, the way you live your life, how you put other people's interests into consideration shows that you're someone who is good mannered, right? Then etiquette going further are certain guidelines and rules, okay, that govern the way we behave in certain situations and settings. All right, so the way certain places you go to, and without you being told, you just know that, okay, so there's a way that people behave here. All right, so you just coordinate yourself. You know, like take for instance, you know too well that when you get to the bank, you're not supposed to even pick a call in the bank because, you know, whether it's written or unwritten, there's an unwritten rule that says don't pick a call in the banking hall. Forget what we do these days, you know, people just misbehave anyhow. So those are unwritten rules that you may not know, but yes, it's an etiquette rule that needs to be adhered. So there are different rules and guidelines that govern different settings, like even in social situations where you find yourself, say like in a party, in a church, for instance. I mean, I see a lot of people, you know, commit faux pas, even in churches these days, and I'm like, oh my God. Why even talking about you shining your light out there, even in the midst of other lights, you're still committing faux pas, right? So there are certain guidelines and rules that need to be adhered to for peaceful coexistence, so that I don't step on you, you don't step on me, so that we understand our space, we understand, okay, so this is it for us. Do you understand it? So that's why etiquette rules and guidelines are very, very important. So I think that's just basically it. So I'm just going to wait for you to, you know, ask the next question, and then I'll reel out some rules that are important for us to adhere to.
Okay. Oh, amazing. I think one of the points that caught me was when she said, you really don't need to speak to tell people that you're Christian. Yes, the things you do to be able to should be good enough to shine your light so much, because the Bible says, so shine your light. Yes, that it will
Exactly.
bring people to the good works, and then it will bring glory to your Father. Yes, so your
Absolutely.
etiquette is just the way that you should act, the way that you should behave, and all of that that is right in a particular setting. Yeah, so we'll just dive in today. I think, in fact, it's so much already is ready for our notes. As she has already said, saying so much. So we want to know, what are the things that we probably are not getting right as Christian women, not just Christian women, as Christians generally, that we should actually work on? What are the things we need to know about etiquette? I think I'll just let you have it flow the way it comes, the way you want it. Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll just explain some rules, some of the etiquette
Okay.
rules, and tell us
Okay.
where we alter, all right, and just take it up from there. So, but before then, you know, just buttressing what you said earlier. So this is my Bible. I always have my Bible close by. So I want to read a scriptural verse. I mean, since this is a Christian platform, right? So I'm allowed to read
Yes, of
Bible. Isn't it?
course. Yes,
Fantastic.
yes, it's for Christian women.
Fantastic. So Colossians chapter 4 from verse 5 says, live, I'm reading the NLT version, the New Living Translation. So it says,
All right.
live wisely among those who are not believers and make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be gracious and attractive, so that you will have the right response for everyone. If you read that same scripture in different translations, you see what it's talking about, you know, having a good conduct out there and all that. So basically, like I've explained earlier, so the etiquette rules are just rules that govern the way we behave. Take, for instance, let's look at some social codices, right? You know, these things we teach our
Okay.
children, magic words. So, oh, there are 5 magic words, sorry, please, thank you, and all that, and all that, and all that. But before I even mention some of the etiquette rules, let me quickly explain some of the importance of etiquette so that it will better help us, grasp the concept and stick to it. So some of the importance, one importance is etiquette teaches you poise, okay? So it teaches you the way to talk, walk, sit, carry yourself, and most importantly, behave in the society. Okay, so etiquette is important and very needful for effective relationship with others, all right? Etiquette makes you a cultured person who leaves an impressive mark wherever and whenever, right? And good. Etiquette is essential for an everlasting first impression. These can be observed from the way you comport, carry, and present yourself. So you know how they say that you never get a second chance to make a first impression, to make a first impression. So first impressions are very important. The way somebody perceives you the very first time is the way, that's the impression the person carries of you. So it's always very important that we're intentional about our behavior, our relationship, our presentation to people at every point in time. Let me just share a story quickly to this effect. So there was a time that one of the places that I had worked at, one of my colleagues had a little bit of issue with her co-worker. So two colleagues, sorry, a colleague of mine had an issue with someone from outside. And it kind of like led to them getting a little bit physical, not fighting per se, but throwing things and all that. And of course, after that, it was all sorted and everything went well. Our boss settled everything. So days later, I went down the street to go get something, and so I got to a place where I wanted to get something, and then the woman who was selling there was trying to ask for my colleague. I think she got something from her too. So she wanted to find out something from me regarding my colleague, and she said, please, how is that your other colleague? Because she's not well spoken like that. So she was trying to describe her, and I said, which one? She said, that fair one, not too tall. I said, which one in particular? Because I know we have some fair ladies in my place of work and all that. She said, that one that was fighting on the street that day. You just can imagine. It was days after the whole challenge, everything had happened. I said, hey, that one where they fight, because that was how she said. She said, that one where they fight, not that one where fight. So it's not, it was just one day fight. But she said, that one where they fight. That's an impression that had already been made in her mind. So I said, oh, you know the person you're talking about. So I went back and I went to tell my colleague, I said, guess how somebody described you today? And she was like, how? I said, see, she became broken. Like, what? I said, yes. I mean, that was what she saw. She saw you fighting on the street, and that's the could describe you. So the way we behave is very, very important. So, and I just said that to explain that. And lastly, I have quite a number, but I'm just going to say the last one. So etiquette enables an individual to learn respect, courtesy, appreciation, and decorum. No one, not even you, right, would feel comfortable relating with a person who's disrespectful and behaves uncomfortably. It's the truth. I mean, answer for those of us listening or watching right now. Would you be comfortable relating with somebody who constantly disrespects you, treats you like a piece of shit, or makes you feel like you're a nobody? Would you find it comforting to say, okay, don't mind her, keep making excuses for her or him? Would you find it, something that you love to do, to hang around someone who disrespects you? No, nobody. Even the people who disrespect people do not love to be disrespected. Everyone loves to be respected, all right? So now we now ask, okay, so how do I now go about respecting people? That's where it leads me to mentioning some of the etiquette rules. So we have number one here, I have on my list. By the way, I'm reading from chapter 11 of my book, right? Your lifestyle. So this is about your lifestyle, right? So
I think a lot of persons would like to know what book you're talking about. So can you tell us about the book before we go on?
Thank you. All right. So I'm reading from my book, The Polished and Classy You book by Uche Imafidon. Let me see if I can get I don't have the hard copy yet, and that's because it's we're processing when working on getting it printed. So, but I do have a soft copy, and this is what the it looks like here. I don't know if you can see it. So the polished and
Okay.
classy woman, yeah, that's the cover.
Classy.
Yeah, so it's a practical guidebook on how to become an irresistibly elegant lady and a dashing
Mm.
gentleman. That's very intentional. I mean, that was intentionally because I know for a fact that when we pay attention to some of these things, there are some people you and I look at and we admire, not just in
Yeah.
the way that they hear, right, but in the way that they carry themselves, in their soft-spokenness, in the way that, in the graceful way that they relate with people. You just look at them and you get naturally endeared to them. So these are some of the things listed in the book here are some of the things that they practice, and they're not faking it. You know how some people tell you, oh, be yourself, please, this is who I am. And they're telling you and they're, portraying very uncouth behavior. And they say, accept me. If you can't accept me as the way I am, then leave me. No, you have to change. If you have to be our friend, if you have to be in our corner, you have to change. Especially as a Christian woman, you just have to live right. You have to, live right. That's it. So, yeah, I am reading from the Polished and Classy book. You can order your copy. The ebook is actually selling on Seller at the moment. If you want, maybe later I could send the link and then you can always go and get a copy. So now, looking at number one, and the number one rule I have here. So it says, number one, be deliberate about infusing these words and phrases into your vocabulary. Be deliberate. Emphasis on be deliberate. Please, thank you,
Mm.
I'm sorry, okay, and excuse me. Of course, I mean, I see you smiling already because you're familiar with these words, right? As
Yeah.
familiar these words sound, these words are really powerful. And do you know that not using some of these words have brought about, turned down relationship of years, has brought down marital relationships because people do not, or people did not say, or someone did not say, I'm sorry. Just not saying I'm sorry has scattered relationships, marriage relationships. I'm not even joking here. Yeah, just not even saying thank you. Oh, I mean, I'm always doing stuff for him, and he never, ever, never deemed it fit to say thank you. Please, I can't pull through with this anymore, and that's it. So they are powerful words that, in fact, just you. I mean, even to God, right? We see ourselves going back to God every now and then and asking for stuff, and Him doing it. And when we don't thank Him, we see the kind of reaction we get from Him. Like He loves being thanked. So we took that nature naturally from God. So it is said to have these inculcated or into our vocabulary. Number one is please. So you say please whenever you need to ask for something or soften a request. I need
Mm.
Faith to give me her pen, for instance. I'm not going to say, oh, it's not just pen. Faith, give me your pen. Or you say, Faith, please. Okay, I think we're back now. Can you hear me now? It's okay. All right, so you say please, right, when you need to soften a request. I think that explains itself. Number three, you say thank you whenever an act of kindness is shown to you, regardless of the volume. Okay?
Mm.
Creates the thoughtfulness. Okay, I heard you say, so let me quickly just explain that. A lot of the times
Yeah.
when people give us things, maybe when you ask for something for someone, or there's some particular thing you're expecting someone to give you or to do for you, and the person doesn't give you, to the level of your expectation, you tend to
Mm.
become, I've seen that, some people just say, just, even the thanks doesn't even come out very well. Just say, okay, thanks, very nonchalantly. No, no. You're not just thanking for the gift. You're not just thanking for the act of
Yeah.
kindness. You're also thanking for the thoughtfulness of that person,
Yeah.
all right? And I want to say this, as a Christian woman, it doesn't matter what is inherent in the society. It doesn't matter what you're seeing that people are doing. Remember, you are giving people, you are the example. you're giving people an idea on how to live. All right.
Yeah.
So the way you live and protect yourself, someone will pick it up and say, oh, I think this is how I should behave. I remember one time that I went for a training in my church, and so one of my friends that I met at the training, we went to the restroom, and I remember walking up to one of the facilitators at the training and saying to her, wow, ma'am, thank you so much. That was really powerful. I had a great time. I mean, I didn't have to. A lot of people came into the same restroom and nobody said thanks. But I thought, no, I'm grateful. This woman did all. I've learned a thing or two, so it's only proper. And that I'm even sharing the same space right now with her. Let me go and say appreciation, go and say my appreciation to her. So the moment I did that, my new friend just walked up to me and said, wow, okay, I like that. I never really would have thought that I would do a thing like that. That's not my kind of thing. I mean, we're all in church. She's my friend from church. And I said, I never really, you understand? I never really would have thought that I would do it. And I'm like, were you not blessed by the teaching that she taught us? She said, I wasn't here. So what will it take you to go ahead and express your appreciation to her? She said, that's true. That makes sense. Do you understand? So whether I like it or yet, a message has been passed to her. Maybe right now she's not in the country, maybe wherever she is, and she gets the opportunity to be, trained by someone. She remembers something that she learned from Uche. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes all out. This is something that is not typical of her before now, but she goes all out to say thank you, and that could just set her apart. Okay, so it's always very important. So saying thank you, regardless of the volume of the act of kindness or the gift, is very important. I think I will have to just run fast so that I think it's already, what's the time? Oh, let me see. How many minutes more do we have? It will help me run fast so I don't keep explaining too much.
Okay, so we have about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes. Okay, let me just run through. I'll explain the bit that I can explain, but most of what I've written here are quite explained, quite self-explanatory, right? So, number 3 says, okay, so you can also make sending a follow-up thank you note or message. So somebody does something for you and you say thank you. You can also take a step of sending a thank you note. Okay?
Wow.
Thank you. Handcrafted is someone that you can reach, someone that you can see, that you're within reach. But if it's someone that is quite far away, you can send a follow-up message. After having said thank you, it's always nice that you send a follow-up message to say, thank you once again. I really appreciate the gift. It was just beautiful. I mean, I least expected it and all that. It would show that you're really grateful, right? So it's always good to send a follow-up message, a follow-up thank you note, or an email. You can do an email, so that's very important. And then also, when someone does something for you, it's also very important you do not oversay thank you. You can just say it once, twice, all right? But don't overstay. Don't keep saying, see the person today, oh, thank you so much. And then see the person at another time, thank you very much. At another time, oh, thank you. I mean, what you're invariably doing when you do that is you're telling the person whether you like it or yes. Okay, so you're bringing yourself to a place of less position. Like, anyone who's sensitive will know that there's a bit of self-esteem issue there that is wrong, all right, with your approach. Just one thank you so much and a follow-up note or message is fine. Move on already, all right? So don't overthank the person. And then to respond. So when someone tells you thank you, there's a response to it. When someone says thank you, I hope am I still on? Please, if you can still hear me, my Yoruba siblings, good. Someone said, yeah, being intentional.
I can still hear you. Go on, please.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, so let me just go ahead. So when someone says thank you, it's always appropriate to say you're welcome or it's my pleasure, okay? Instead of saying no problem, or when someone appreciates you and says thank you, don't just leave them hanging. When someone tells you thank you, don't say no problem or whatever else that you say. Simply say you're welcome or it's my pleasure, and that's it. That ends it. And when people tell you thank you, don't just leave them hanging. Just say, oh, whatever. No. Even on social media, when you're chatting, somebody sends you, thank you very much. Take 1 second to say, oh, you're welcome. That's the response for thank you. Don't leave them hanging. It's always rude. It's not nice. Because I see that a lot of the times, right? But it is not nice. All right? Good. So the next one is say, excuse me, may I, when you need to seek someone's permission. You can also say, pardon me. So don't just say, oh, please, just badging on someone. Or maybe when people are having conversation, take for instance, Faith and I are having conversation, and you just badge in, someone else badges in and say, hey, Uche, please, I need to, no. You say, may I, or excuse me, Uche, I'd like to speak with Faith. It shows that you respect Uche, even though you need Faith's attention, it shows that you respect Uche. These are little things that they may seem like they are insignificant, but they count a great deal. They do. We don't want me to begin to recount experiences of how people have even gone as far as committing suicide because they felt that they were not respected. Because they felt that, oh, is it because I don't have money? That's why he's not treating me like that. I mean, people feel that terribly. Do you understand? So it's very, very important. Remember that we are the light, all right? So we are teaching people how to live the life. In fact, always ask yourself, as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention that the guiding rule of etiquette, right, is taken from the book of Mark. Mark 12:37, I should think. That's the golden rule where it says to do unto others what you would have them do unto you. That's the golden rule. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. So if you do not love to be disrespected, then you do not want to give disrespect, or you do not want to disrespect someone else. All right, so important that we pay attention to these things, okay? And then, so let me quickly just run down to, okay, so when you are to respond, all right, when someone asks you a question, say, don't say yep, because some say, oh yeah, yep, nah, no. Like the Bible says, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Some people actually take offense when you say, yeah. I mean, there's someone who have actually lost a job opportunity because he kept saying, oh, yeah, nah. And the person said, who's this one? Where is she coming from? Because the person he is dealing with, or he was dealing with, was somebody who's prim and proper. You know, those prim and proper ladies, they're very, very particular about your communication with them. So, I mean, that kind of like disqualified the person. So, a simple yes will do, a simple no will do. All right, so moving on. So let's take another one very quickly before we do introduction. I think I'm on introduction already. Okay, so, all right. Number 11, rule number 11 says, always greet people wherever you find yourself. Always greet people, both those you know and those you don't know. You don't have to necessarily greet only those that you don't know. It's getting darker here. Whoops, okay. But can you still see my face? Can you still see me clearly?
Yes, I can see you.
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's even more, yours is even brighter than mine, so I can see you better.
Oh, fantastic. So it says, always greet people wherever you find yourself, both those you know and don't know. Always cultivate the habit of greeting people appropriately, not necessarily waiting for them to greet you first. You know, we have this habit of, let her greet me first now. Remember, you are the one who's showing people how to behave. You are the respectful one here. Whether they are superior people or subordinate people, you know, people that you're higher than in terms of rank or so, it won't cost you anything to say, hello, Faith, good morning, how are you? Even if the person is your younger sister, let the person say, oh, Auntie Faith, good morning, how was your night? Don't wait and say, oh, after all, she's my younger sister, or after all, he's my younger brother, so he should be the one to greet me first. So it doesn't work that way. Fantastic, thank you. So that's very important. So reading on, Good. Perfect, you're back. I can see that you're back. So it says, greet people, cultivate the habit of greeting people appropriately, not necessarily waiting for them first. Whether they are superiors, contemporaries, colleagues, or subordinate, especially when at your place of work. I know that there's always this rivalry at your place of work where this one thinks, oh, I mean, after I'm the boss here, after I'm a higher ranked person here. I came to this organization before her. All of those power tussle and all that are highly irrelevant and inconsequential when it comes to you, depicting respect for people. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, when you do that, you may not even need to open your mouth to preach Jesus is Lord. People are already seeing it by the way you live, that indeed Jesus is truly Lord. All right, so these are things that we need to put into consideration as we go ahead and have interactions in our different areas, even on our streets. Even on our street, let people know you for someone who greets. Ah, that lady, she's a very cheerful person. Right now on my street here, once I'm coming out, like, oh my God, sometimes I even dodge because I just cannot pass and not, greet like everyone I see. Good morning, hey, good morning. Or even, and I don't get tired of it because I just know, okay, sometimes even just saying good morning to someone will mean a whole lot to that person because maybe nobody has ever smiled to the person and the person is just feeling already frustrated about the day. And then you coming with a cheerful smile saying, good morning. I mean, there's a part that says, I'm going to also read, that talks about learning how to give compliments. Good morning. Wow, you look great this morning. I love your silpas. It looks nice. You look for something. You may not necessarily love everything about that person, but look for something that you like about the person and compliment on it. You never can tell how far that will go. It's very important. Okay, so I think that's it. And then the next one, so when you're in a commercial bus, whether you're in a commercial bus, whether you're at the cinema, anywhere in a public space, you come to the cinema and you're seated, already seated. I mean, say good morning. It's not going to cost you anything. Say, oh, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. Just, be polite. Greet people anywhere you go to. And please, I need us to please listen to this. When it comes to relating with your contemporaries, people that you're familiar with, you can always say, hi, hello, hello, Faith, how are you? Good morning. But when it comes to relating with people who are older, don't go saying, hello, sir, hello, man, that's it. They will look at you and say, this child is not well trained. So greet appropriately. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am, or whatever time it is, or good day, ma'am, all right? It shows that you're respectful. People actually pick respect in different ways. So, but just to be on the safe side, some people may not mind you saying hello to them, but some people actually mind. So, but to avoid, because you don't know who may mind and who may not mind. So, but to avoid anything, just to be on the safe side, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's not going to take one hair away from your body, right? So just go ahead and say it and you'll be fine. All right, good. So another thing is, please, this is very important for those of us on social media. So we had a conversation yesterday, and then we're continuing that conversation today. Don't say, hey, what I said yesterday, no. For every day, all right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So Faith and I started off with a conversation yesterday. And we need to continue that conversation today. Today is a new day. I wouldn't say because the last chat says, okay, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And then I will not say, oh, hey, you said you will get back to me tomorrow. So what is it? No. Before I go ahead to say anything to Faith, I want to say, hey, Faith, good morning. How are you? Hope you slept fine. All right, you did promise to get back to me today. So I'm here today. Do you understand it? So you don't just go and continue the chat without properly saying your salutation or greeting the person first. Some people, I for one, consider it disrespectful, especially when it's coming from someone young. I'm like, I don't understand. Is it not, it's not a new day? So just the same way I can't see Faith, because we had a pending conversation yesterday, and I had a pending conversation in the morning, and I'm seeing Faith in the evening, and I'll just take it up from there. When I'm seeing her physically, no. I will still have to say, hey, Faith, good evening, how are you? Hope you had a beautiful day today, yes. And then we now take it up from where we stopped earlier. I've forgotten it, right?
Yeah.
I just explained now, fantastic. So, speeding on, I really wanted to take a lot of rules, but I have so many of them here. So another part is to introduce. Okay, let me take this one very quickly because this is one place that we also commit faux pas, right? So when you're being introduced, okay, so quickly, now when it comes to social setting, aside from a business environment, for handshake, okay, for handshake, it's important that, let me see if I can turn on my, please give me a moment. I want to see if I can turn on my flashlight. Oh, my flashlight ain't coming on. Oh, okay, it's not coming on. I thought I could turn on my flashlight. I think it's getting darker here. Let me see if I can turn this on. Let me see. Oh, if I turn this on, it may not still come up. Okay. I was really hoping that the power, and I don't want to turn on Jen because of the sound, the noise, maybe a bit noisy here. So yeah, for social situations, it's always, in fact, the ideal thing is for a man to wait. A man doesn't stretch his hand out to shake a lady's hand. Can you hear me? I know men are not here. Excuse
Yes.
me. So when you're in a situation, good, fine, yeah. I think yours is brighter now. I may have to look for a way to make mine brighter too a bit. So when you're in a situation, a social setting, it's always appropriate that you wait for. So a man, a gentleman who knows what he's doing, should wait for a lady to stretch her hand for a handshake. Okay? So, but if a man who doesn't know, I mean, he doesn't know that I'm not supposed to stretch my hand, except in a business setting. If it is in a business setting, anybody is free to stretch hands, whether the woman or the man. But aside from a business situation, a formal environment, a man is supposed to wait for a lady because of the respect that he apportions a lady to stretch her hand for a handshake first before he takes the hand. But should in case the lady doesn't know, right? The man doesn't know rather, and he stretches the hand. A lady, a godly lady, an elegant lady doesn't say, oh, you're not supposed to stretch your hand and then, you now make him feel embarrassed. No, you stretch your hand to take the handshake, all right? But I'm just saying, for someone who knows going forward, a man actually need to wait for a lady because, I mean, you're a lady, so the respect should be there. So you shouldn't turn down a handshake. I just thought that to say that don't turn down a handshake because you feel no. He shouldn't be the one stretching his hand first. You should wait for me or me. I don't shake men. No. If someone stretches their hand, take the handshake, shake it very firmly, and drop it. It shows that see I'm confident of who I am. I mean I am supposed to shake your hands, but since you did that, no wahala. I can still take it. All right. So another important part is so I'm just going to take them randomly now. I think I'm already running behind schedule. So yeah, introduction, please. When greeting an older person, a higher ranked or a prominent personality, do not stretch your hand first for a handshake. Okay? So, so that's the rule. The rule is a man is supposed to wait for a lady to stretch her hand. Now, for a lady, as long as you are about to shake someone who's older, you do not stretch your hand out to an older person. You wait for the person to stretch his hand towards you. All right? Good. So that's the rule. Another part is good. So when people introduce you, let them know that it's nice to meet them. When somebody introduces you, just say, oh, it's nice to meet you, Faith. Good morning. I mean, I've heard quite a number of things about you. That's if you've heard. If you've not heard, don't lie. Just say, oh, it's really nice to meet you. What do you do? Oh, this is what I do. And then you just pick it up from there and you have your conversation. It's very important. And also, please, when in a social setting, learn to remember people's names. When somebody tells you their name and it's not well, and you can't seem to pronounce it very well, always learn to commit people's names to heart. If you have to say, especially when you go for an event, somebody tells you, oh, my name is Uche Imafidon.
Okay. They can.
say, oh, please, I've forgotten it. What's that your name again? If you keep saying that, what's that your name again? It just shows that what you're saying to that person is, sorry, I don't consider you as important enough to store your name in my mind. And the person will feel offended. So when people tell you their name, they go as far as saying, oh, my name is Faith. Please commit it to her. Faith, just in case you need to have a conversation with Faith later. It would always be nice. Even just imagine somebody calling my name. If after 1 month of seeing, and the person calls and says, Uche, right? I remember you, feel good. That means, wow, you still have memory of me in your mind. That's it. So it's always good to always remember people's name all the time. Okay, so I think that's about it. Yeah, please, this one is very important as well. When introducing, introduction as well. So when introducing yourself, all right? When you need to introduce yourself to people, do not introduce yourself with your titles, even if you have 10 of those. If you have 10 titles, no, don't use one to introduce it. Your name is actually not your title. It's a title that was given to you. Your name is your name. So I am Bishop Dr. Reverend Sister of my church. And I want to introduce myself to an audience because I know that we falter in churches. So I want to introduce myself in a public space. I go ahead to say, hello everyone, good morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Uche Imafidon. My name is Dr. Uche Imafidon. Wrong. My name is Barrister Uche Imafidon. Wrong. Simple. My name is Uche Imafidon. Then if I feel like letting people know what I do, take for instance, I'm a legal practitioner. I say, oh, my name is Uche Imafidon. I'm a legal practitioner or I'm a lawyer. Then let people be the one to call you, oh, Barrister Uche. The title is for people to refer you because they honor you. You are not honoring yourself. All right, so they honor you with that title. That's why they call you Dr. Uche or Sister Uche. You don't even go as far as saying my name is Sister Uche. Everybody obviously know that you're a sister. So you don't go ahead and start adding sister to your name. Your name is your name. And when you need to introduce yourself, your first name comes first and last name comes last. There's a reason it's called first name and last name, right? So the first name Uche, last name Imafidon. Don't say Imafidon Uche. I understand the confusion. So when we were in school, they usually would call, when we were in secondary school, so even in high institution, they usually would call our surname first and our last name, our first name last. Usually the reason is because they usually would have like so many Uches in a class. Yeah. So our surname was what differentiated all of us. So we have Uche Ojuku, Uche Obianuju, Uche this. So it's the surname. So when they mention Imafidon Uche, Uche knows the one that is being mentioned. That's why it was used back then. But the appropriate thing now that you're introducing yourself is to mention your first name first, right? And your last name last. So my name is Uche Imafidon, not Sister Uche Imafidon. Is that taken?
Yes, please, if you don't mind, I would like to say something here because I see Ike was saying my church members, and in my head I've just been shouting.
I can barely hear you. Can you speak louder, please?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can barely hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Not very loud.
Wow, okay. I am trying to be a bit more louder. Can you hear me?
Okay, just continue. Continue.
Okay, with regards to what you said that we are not supposed to put sister, I think I don't know how this balances up. I think I see Ike Fruits Calabar Special saying my church members because seriously it's a challenge in churches. Everybody gets.
Your line is breaking.
Studies, but
it's breaking. I can't hear you.
So it's quite a table we are shaking here.
No,
to say you introduce yourself by your name and not putting the title of sister. Title of sister or introducing ourselves. Yes, thinking of how the religious our religious setting that people get to always say there's quite a table we are shaking here, because you go out there and almost everyone is saying Sister D's, I am Brother D's, I am Sister D's, and then yeah, but it's for us to be the best of our kind, of ourselves. Really need to adjust.
I mean, absolutely, we do.
All right, over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. This point you're bringing out are so powerful.
Okay. Yeah, I can obviously say.
Okay, you can go on,
right,
please.
so yeah, that's taken. So very quickly, the reason why you don't honor yourself, you don't add your title is, you know, a lot of people they attach their sense of self-worth to their title. When you take their titles away from it, they begin to feel like, oh my God, nobody will respect me. No, you are who you are, and you are original. You are a dignified person, whether you have title or not. All right, so it is the titles are meant for people to honor you with, not you honoring yourself. Do you understand it? Even there, I think it's somewhere in the Bible where you say, you know, you don't highly esteem yourself more than you should. Okay, so the honor is not for you. You are to honor people. Then the reverse is when you have to honor, when you have to introduce others. So take, for instance, Faith, you are a medical doctor, and we go to a social space, and I need to, or maybe say in church, for instance, I need to introduce you. So I say, oh, hello, everyone. Please meet my new friend, Faith, or meet my new friend, Dr. Faith, okay? Dr. Faith is a medical doctor and all that. Because you have that title, you earned it. So I should honor you with it. In fact, I should be proud to let everyone know that you are a doctor. Okay? So I will be the one to use the title for you and not you using it yourself. I hope we've gotten it. So henceforth, please, as we keep going, do not desist from it. I see this you just mentioned, I see a lot of it. So, all right. I was saying something about poise quickly. That is always very good that, let me read what I have here. So one way to appear polished, classy, and graceful is to have a graceful deportment. Having a proper deportment, which is knowing how to appear and behave in the public, will help you leave an impressive mark wherever and whenever. It is said that it takes 10 seconds of meeting a person to form an opinion of that person instantly and create an impression. First impressions are very important because they tend to be long-lasting. So you know everything about first impressions. So now, tips on proper deportment and body language. I'm just going to take one. Make a positive statement with your dressing and appearance by making sure to dress appropriately while maintaining good hygiene. Very, very important, please, everyone. Maintaining good hygiene. Look neat. Smell nice. It's very important that you smell nice. Do not allow people, don't make, you know, people being around you unbearable. You know how that people can, and they'll be holding their breath because you're sweating you're smelling of sweat, or your hair is not tidy as a woman. You've had your hair gear for a long time, or your hair, you know, do not. It's always, in fact, the moment people can begin to have such impression about you, they're already placing you somewhere in their mind, like this one, no, this kind of person should not be taken very seriously. There's a perception that people are already forming about you when they perceive that you're not neat, when they perceive that you're not well dressed, you're just shabbily dressed, you don't put any form of intentionality into your dressing and to your appearance. You know that they say that people first see you before they hear you, right? So you may say, don't worry. Once I go there, it's not just about what they see, it's about what I say. Some people never got the opportunity to be heard because they were not telling you, because they didn't appear very well enough for people to want to hear them. Even down to when you go for interviews. You know, somebody just looks at you and immediately writes you off, immediately, without you even uttering a word. And you say, but they didn't even allow me to speak. Yes, because you did not encourage them to listen to you or to want to listen to you. So that's why it's very important that we pay close attention to how we appear at all times. For us as Christian women, our dress code is decency. It's always good, no matter how or where you're going to, always appear decently. It's very important, right? Okay, so that's just the one I can only take on poise. I just want to quickly run and take like 2 etiquette rules on phone etiquette. Very important. Let me just quickly mention some of the 4 P's in our phone etiquette. Okay, let me do business, chapter 14. Let me just take 2 rules for business and workplace etiquette for some of us who work. So number 1, treat people with courtesy and show respect to all, including colleagues, bosses, subordinates, customers. Greet them appropriately and do not wait for the others to greet you first. You know, so it's easier for you to respect your boss because, of course, it's the one that pays the salary, right? So even if he's misbehaving and doing anyhow, you just be enjoying him. But if he's now your subordinate, someone that you're probably higher in rank than at your place of work, then you not say, please, did you not see me this morning? Why didn't you greet me when you know what I mean? All of those are very, very unnecessary. Highly unnecessary. So greet people, make sure you treat people with courtesy, with respect. Let them know that you appreciate them, all right? So it's very important. And then give strict adherence to organizational rules and policies and adopt loyalty into the organization system. Don't say, I work here. The fact that you accept to work somewhere, you need to abide by their rules and regulations, by their policy at that your place of work. If you do not want to abide by the policy, then you can bow out. You just say, okay, quit already, resign. But as long as you are in that space, they are paying you salary and you are collecting it, please, whatever policy that they put in place, you need to show an example of a Christian lady by adhering to the rules. Be loyal to your organization. So you're not working somewhere and then when people are gathered talking about your organization, you're also gathering and talking against your organization. No, it's not a godly thing to do. It's not a proper thing to do. You're loyal to the organization. And I think the last I can take for work etiquette is, okay, so please, where's the stealing by stealth? Okay, so do not take or use other people's items without their permission. Also, do not use your office property like stationery, telephone, or any other for personal use, any other stuff for personal use. Do not. I see a lot of this. Even before now, when I didn't know any better, sometimes you just go and use office A4 paper for personal use, use office pins without even taking any form of permission. It's not nice. It's not proper. They are not your stuff. You don't say it's our thing. No, it's not. So, but if you must use it, you have authorities, you have superiors. You can always go and tell them, please, I need this paper to do something. Can I use it, please? If they say yes, you go ahead. If they say no, please don't. The moment you start to take things, office stuff, because you feel that it's your office stuff, you're already stealing. That's stealing by stealth. You're already stealing. So you do not want to do that. All right, so very quickly, let me take 1 or 2 from cell phone etiquette, and then I'll hand over to you, Faith. You take it up from here, because it's already becoming very dark here. And then, so it says, so for etiquette, phone etiquette, the way some people, okay, make, receive, and respond to calls and messages on their mobile phones can be very annoying sometimes. One may be tempted to seize the mobile phones and have them learn some phone courtesies first. Personally, I think people, especially young ones, should be made to learn the proper phone call courtesies before having one. And who else is better positioned to teach them than you, our dear role model? Okay, so you are the one that these young ones are watching on how you make phone calls. So when you see a young one around you, answer a phone call by, who is this? They learned it from somewhere, and it's not far-fetched. They probably learned it from you. So please listen. When you make a phone call, especially to a person who's not familiar with you, greet politely and introduce yourself. Save the person the stress of guessing who you are. Say, guess who is this? You cannot even recognize my voice. That's long time talking. Save time. Don't say, oh, hello, this is Uche speaking. Oh, Uche, I recognize your voice. Fantastic. They did not recognize your voice. Just introduce yourself straight to the point. All right, good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And another part is speak calmly and not loudly over the phone, especially when other people are around. When some people are making phone calls, you would think that there are like 100 people making the phone call at the same time. They can be very loud, like really loud. You should not be that kind of person, please. And then another important one I also want to say is never answer, never, please, empathy on never. Never answer a phone call with the phrase, "Who is this?" or "It is very rude." Do you get? Somebody calls you, you can't seem to identify the number. You go, "Hello, who's this?" Rude, wrong. So it's very rude, right? So what you should rather say is a polite "Hello, good morning," or "Good afternoon," or "Good evening," as the case may be. Then say, "May I know who I'm speaking with?" Okay, in case you don't have the number saved on your phone. "Hello, good morning. May I know who I'm speaking with?" Simple, not "Hello, who's this? Who's this?" Who's this is wrong. It's a rude way to respond to a phone call, please. And then, okay, so number 5, which is about the last I'll be taking, and then I'll hand over to you, Faith. So it says, do not end a call that you did not initiate. It is a very rude and an uncultured act to end a call that you did not make, or drop a call abruptly because you are angry or for whatever reason. However, if at the end of a call, the caller forgets to press the end call button, wait for about 3 to 5 seconds rather, before pressing the end call button or icon. Did we get that? Good.
Yes.
So if you did not make a call, you don't have the right to end the call. Whoever makes the call ends the call. That's what courtesy demands. So, but if you make the call, of course, you can end the call. But if a caller calls you and you're angry, even if the person is saying gibberish or something that you're not happy about, the best you can do is pull the phone away from your ear. So you can just do this just so that you don't keep getting infuriated. You know, there are some conversations that will be making you feel and you want to say things that you're not supposed to say. So you can just pull it away from your ear. When the person keeps talking and realizes you're not talking, maybe the person on her own or his own can drop the call. But you angrily dropping the call on the person is rude, no matter who they are or what they are talking about. Don't drop the call on anybody. It's rude. All right? Good. So I think that's about it. And then, yeah, so the last part is in case you're talking with someone, somebody calls you and the person forgets to end the call. If the person forgets to end the call, you look at it, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're still reading, you can now end the call because the person has forgotten. So you can help the person to end the call. Is that okay? So with this, I think we have come to, I actually plan to talk more than this. I have a lot of other things. I wanted to talk about some of the ways to plan when you go for events, how to network with other people, how to plan your networking. You know, some people say, I don't even know how to communicate when I go to public places. I don't know how to start the conversation. So I give you an idea. I was supposed to share that with you, but from what I have, I know that we are already running out of time. So, but what I just want to say is, when Faith is done, you can always go and pick the copy of this. It's a handbook. So it's a handbook that you can always have. Before I wrote mine, I already had like other handbooks that are always in my handbag. So when I get to an unfamiliar terrain, I don't know, I just bring it out. What does it say here? What does it say here? Oh, really? So I get myself equipped and my head raised high and confidently. So I know I'm not taken aback. I'm not, shocked by whatever it is that I find in that atmosphere. All right, so Faith, over to you. Thank you once again for having me. I hope I've been able to do justice to this session.
Oh my God, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. It's been a wonderful time. I just can't express how I feel. It's been a wonderful time. So much have been said, so much have been learned. In fact, we are unlearning some things we learned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear.
Yes. There's a lot of things. Yeah, me, Etonya Ja. Hope I got your pronunciation well. Okay, it's an interesting session. Yes, it's been very interesting. I've really learned a lot. I wish we had all the time. I'm thinking a part two. If it will be okay by you, man, will be fine.
It's
Probably some
okay.
other time. Some other time,
Yeah.
probably so talk about the networking and other aspects.
Yeah. A part two
Awesome.
will
We
be
had a
a
great
great
time.
topic.
We had a
It'll be delightful to be here to invite care faith.
awesome. So please, what I can say is for me, I'm already making up my mind. I just wish the link was here already. I'll click on it and get a copy of that book. So I would like you to do the same thing. We are going to post the link on the Radiant Woman show on all our pages. Please do well to get a copy for yourself. You cannot just afford to just live like that. You need to be that classy woman that you ought to be. So please, when the link is shared out, do well to click and get a copy for yourself. So much is inside. When I was reading, I wish I could just be reading through mine too. So it's
Yeah.
something that you really need to have. Yes, I'm getting mine too. Please do well to get yours too. It's been an awesome time. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all that you've shared. It's been, in fact, I think I just need to have a rewatch of everything. The rewatch will be available on YouTube. Please do well to follow my Uche Imafidon. Yes, and
Yeah.
on YouTube, Refining Moments.
That's
Yes,
right.
so please do well to follow her. And the Radio Woman Show hosts every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Yes, we will be having we'll keep having wonderful guest speaker like what we've had today. Come teach us, come so we learn and become the women that we ought to be. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. In fact, it's
Thank,
been wonderful here. Thank you for all that you've shared. We look forward to
thank
having you next time again.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone
Thank
for
you for
joining. We
having
look forward to
us
having you
today.
next week Wednesday at 5:30.